what to do in the meantime, and why it doesn't matter. The audiobook by Dr. Michael Richard Lucas. Narrated by me, Samantha. Arranged and produced by Michael Richard Lucas. Chapter 11. Diet Surrealism, Absurdist Light. Doing a good job is freest nation's biggest downfall. Climate change deniers very successful. It does matter to some people if you wear a green tie or a blue tie, just not to the blind man. T-shirt idea. What's fun to do at the beach? Words and a beach ball. A bizarre short ad. Person doing awkward dance with a beach ball. Commentators, we don't like this. This t-shirt sucks. Brevity is the something of wit. I dunno. Nebraska. Our character. Yet to do anything noteworthy. Especially today. North by Northwest. An essay on miscommunication and identity in modernity. Extremely normal political party adopts Sky Wizard's legal system. Our character realized this book. The conversations they hadn't been able to have with good friend, who was a friend, but more than an acquaintance, etc. During this space-time. Again, escaping through the vent saves countless plots for our character. If our character met themselves IRL, it might be surprisingly boring. A nod. In agreement. What could you say to them? Always less. Lol. Art of hope. Something magical will happen. Through technique. No arriving. Everyone starts singing it in unison. How do you all know this happy birthday song? Note to self. Learn this happy birthday song. How was our character able to get by? They capture, bottle, and provide for others what they need to pass on. Zombie, 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 etc. Technique. Like screen capturing. To find out your writing style. Wink. Cute smiley face. Cult Miley Cyrus place. Cut and paste. Glob and grace. Tonight with Ace. At 8. A journey of self-discovery. Whose self you discover is another question entirely. In dream interpretation, people supply the context to unrelated events, situations. In the interpretation, the meaning is supplied. When our author type, the voices moved through them. Through us now, all the words, sentences, and books we have read. Thumbs up. What if this made it into the book? Lol. The lecture I am reading now. Comedian finally successful enough to be on shitty primetime sitcom. Citizens. Some bottle caps need to be taken off when recycling plastic. Orange man. Dismantle EPA voices shaping our characters speaking. Their being. We are that being. While being. Space-time. Etc. The linearity. Literary. Space-time. Supplied by our character. Our ethos. That is us. Dreams. Space-time practice. Someone who lives and dies for power and money doesn't deserve your thoughts and prayers. President at Walter Reed Hospital doesn't need your thoughts and prayers. Save them for those who aren't. T-shirt ideas. Cocktail hour. Random image of a pelican. Studies show millennials midlife crisis underwhelming. Boomers. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. And you gotta pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. I never got nothing for free. Coronavirus happens. Boomers. Now hold on. Are all ultra-conservative sexual deviants? Well, that's my time, folks. Make sure to follow online. Click on links, etc. Read Pubinomics. I'm pissed about gas and milk prices, but I still think $7.25 is a reasonable minimum wage. Class of 2004. Best sidekick. The best relationships are held together by a shared guilt. Olives are just pickled acorns. I'm new in town. Where is the nearest Karen? Dogs now living better lives than 75% of human population. Sky Wizard provides for those who worship him in a very particular way. in a way that adheres to the right set of principles that he sets forth. Sky Wizard trying open relationship again. T-shirt ideas. Best roommates forever. Extremely normal political party germaphobe conflicted. Nation asks, is everything okay? You've barely touched your Rudy Giuliani, Masked Singer, and new Spider-Man movie. Our character asks, can I keep my teeth? There are so many people who just aren't cool. Invest hard, still making $1 out of 50 cents. The ability to step aside from that self, to take a break, able to identify that part of their identity. Our character could now identify the obsessive voice, the business voice, etc., and understand it was both them and not them. How consciousness itself developed. A process of getting over one of your voices, realizing it for what it is, being able to hear all voices. Just do whatever people tell you to do. Radical passivity, free of self. Follow all the rules, to follow none. The true truth is silent. No words, no sharing. You do not need to tell others about it. You know they will find it in their own time, on their own path. You cannot provide evidence for this truth. Conform as much as possible. Everyone knows better than you. This is learning. This is listening. This is how to be a being with for other humans to live with some peace in modernity. The best you can do. Diminish the inevitable regret. Radical passivity. No one will be able to control you. Through the illusion of freedom. Our character felt sorry for all the rich children, who never had hand-me-downs. I was made for the apocalypse. Just not regular life. Our character was at the age where they walk down the hardware store aisle to see if they need anything, and they will never ask for help. Deep state so effective they allowed Orange Man to be elected. Today, our character would begin training for the PGA Tour. What can't she do? Apparently, training to be a professional athlete was as realistic as getting a job in the field our character had been studying for most of their adult life. White person pretends to like thing, to not appear racist. Airline industry should have purchased flight insurance. I like all the tiger teams. I just like tigers. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. Surprising number of evangelicals claiming they could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody. There are some thoughts that can rip apart our consciousness, rip apart societies, and human existence. We are not ready for these thoughts. We are not mentally strong enough yet. Living with the regret of what you can still do. This is not life. You are too far behind yourself. You are making yourself a ghost. We dream to prepare us for the beyond. We live to dream, to move beyond. An all-being being that has forgotten itself. Finding solace that this life is not all there is. Outside of space-time. Expanding yourself outward. Your mind outside your body. Turn your mind into your body, and your body into the world. Stretch yourself outward and in, beyond the walls of your skin, becoming all that surrounds you, until you are the space-time outside you, outside the others, propping up your identity. You are no longer you. Everything is everything, connected to the everything. This field of consciousness, with others who have escaped themselves. The next evolution? No more connections, no physical devices, no communications, no predicting what other people will do. Beyond competition. This death is a way to live. Odds apparently the same as getting a job matching my qualifications. Being good at not doing things was not the same as being good at doing things. Lorem ipsum dolor sit-amid, consectutor adipissing elit, sed dui usmid tempier incident ab labore et dolor magna aliqua, quis ipsum suspendis ultricis gravita, rissus commado vivere messinus accumsum lacus vel facilicis. It is important to take care of the patient, to be followed by the patient, but it will happen at such a time that there is a lot of work and pain. Who himself suspended the basketball? Laughter is a good way to draw the Messinus layer of the lake or the easy ones. There are no marketing accidents, just marketing miracles. Jesus on back of car, read Jesus by car behind, reaching back. Evaluating our creative histories. Let's ask our character to consider any project or instance where the end goal was not given, when our character's reputation with others was at stake. This can manifest in many ways: a social media post, a song they wrote, an event they planned, etc. But it also can't be anything. One's history of creativity, a pedagogical tool, like time capsules, an evaluative outlook, a barometer, helping to round out an image of themselves. If the current feedback they are receiving, from others and themselves, appears contradictory, confusing, or not present at all, better equipped to find the validity of other people's criticisms, even if they don't agree with them. Our character's desire to control logos often accompanied their desire to control people, using logos to clear the grounds for our character's own agenda. But if true, how can I write about it right now? I shouldn't be able to know I know this. Our character thought to themselves. Parody, the irony of the self, a sense of appreciation, the thing that gets us there, and the thing we get in return. We already look at screens to move through space-time. There are serial killers who have been more successful at holding down a normal career. Sponsored. Truck. One Truck Award says commercial. Pilgrims were dicks. In a year that's been so new, do you forget stuff? Wait, is candy actually bad for us? Or yet another thing our parents told us, so we would stop asking. Lies like Santa Claus and marijuana. Dress really nice when the dress code is casual. Then say, oh, this is pretty casual for me. Everyone will be impressed. We put our character at a disadvantage to see the complete picture. The reader is complicit, allowing them the ability to reflect on their habitual practice. Kairos, not rendered helpless by space-time, to deal with the violation of our expectations, that were produced by our perception, that we could order space-time to suit our needs. Here mistakes become the raw materials for invention. They allow for an opportunity to do something outside of our character's predetermined goals, willing to see how the end goal can change. Great time to shoot those abandoned street scenes for your indie film. Dudes, just do what the guy does in a Disney montage. I haven't heard anything about spontaneous combustion in a while. Kafka, but for kids. No, I'm the president. GF mad at 30-something BF for not walking the dogs he told her not to get. So many good buts in Olympics. Is nation great again? Yet? We learned nothing. MacArthur genius creates really cool commercial for Spotify with grant money. Ugh, revenge is so Old Testament. Catholicism attempting to be Old Testament in a New Testament world. If I was doing this for your approval, I would have quit a long time ago. Everything is something now. Our character only finds themselves within the moments of their story. They rarely thought about living the story of the book they were writing. Perhaps there is a soul and it inhabits different bodies at different times. Perhaps there are memories tied to it. The anxiety, I'm not my own. Then the warm sedative. Our character was able to slow down and realize their importance. They were prepared to accept what they perceived to be their radical inadequacies. The fish didn't understand why our character was taking a picture of it, or it did, and we are not smart enough to know it, or we don't. You don't have to be a fish to not know. Freest nation worships purpose, without providing anyone the ability to achieve it. Now our character had lived, and formed a multitude of opinions. These opinions had been disproved, and reproved, only to have them disproved again, etc. They knew the content was coming out of them, at all different angles. Our author applied form here and there, as a lubricant, to the large amounts of content that would follow. They realized form as a vehicle. NCAA upset they might have to start paying their employees. Everything has failed. I just took another DNA test. I wasn't sure about the results from the first one. And it turns out, I'm still 100% that bitch. I drink wine left-handed. Choose opportunity maximums every day. Sneezing cures hiccups. Oh no, it's fine. Go ahead and explode your big boom boom sounds at 11 p.m. on June 28th. I wanted to spend the rest of the night saving my dogs from PTSD. Cool cool cool. Every country song. It's okay if you failed miserably and are stuck in the past. In fact, it's better this way. Trust funds disincentivize people from entering the workforce through the essentially mistaken nature of language. Existence. Everything becomes itself. To not become itself. To become itself again, etc. Constantly searching for failure, contradiction in others and ourselves to determine where we are in the cycle. Does it matter? A question presupposes an answer should exist. Carving a little corner of space-time out for yourself. Mid-century modern. A survival adaptation. Necessary to restore calm. To have control over something. The particularity of one's immediately lived space-time. I'm all for personal accountability. Just not your twisted version of it. Walk into the room with the confidence of a single mom on Tinder. I think I'd like to be a famous reality TV star when I grow up. In coffee shop. Surrounded by couples meeting for the first time via dating. At what the elite liberal media doesn't want you to know. Orange Man's economy was great for dogs. Academic paper. I'm writing about someone else who wrote about someone else who wrote about someone else, etc. Cops make funny viral video to prove not all of them are uneducated, racist, power-hungry pieces of shit. Statistically, some of them had to be decent people. Culture consumed itself. Culture at war with itself. The whole thing keeps moving forward, but in a circle. The circle itself is moving. The earth spinning, also around the sun, dizzying. The author, moving forward, into your past, and your future, etc. Our character was thinking they could make correlations to pop culture here, and academia here, etc. Both follow in the same circular wave pattern. The moment when all generations' music aligns, a new epoch, or the end of an epoch, or the need for a beginning of another. Orange Man claims the virus was a hoax and over quickly, but it was also the worst virus we've ever seen. And Orange Man did an amazing job of protecting freest nation. Tired of things that led to more things. Quick. Take something millennials love and market it back at them for a profit and wonder why millennials have an apathetic worldview. Nature versus nurture. Tonight at 8 p.m. This book proves, logically, that Ayn Rand was a real piece of shit. The author. Advertorials. Downfall of humanity. The new normal abnormal. Oh, you're afraid of being poor? Lol. Clearly you don't have an advanced degree in the humanities. High unemployment rate. For jobs with decent benefits. Hey, we are an institution you interacted with once. We want to let you know what we are doing during these trying times, etc. We are not advertising right now. They were. I'm just a manatee bouncing along. Everything else will always, eventually become everything else. And that is what we call life. Until we can't, we call this death. Not being able to repeat the process, that which moves forward, is the part of us that escapes what we become, what our character became, the remainder, in pursuit of an appreciation, our character's desire to know their desire, subjected to referencing only the memorable situations, not the situations that happened all the time, or were the most important. Most of our characters' childhood was spent worrying about if they could defeat an invisible warrior from attacking them, should the situation present itself. A treasure trove of treasures. The author. Me. I feel like shit. Also me. Have you tried eating an entire cake? Me again. No. But that sounds like a great idea. Guys will read this book and just think, hell yeah. The author. Everything only seemed to be going wrong enough without our character being able to tell for certain if everything was going wrong. The The metaverse is going to be awesome for rich people, nearly accessible for poor people, and infuriatingly mediocre for most people. Because that's how everything was during our character's space-time. If you gender everything, you gender nothing. Mentally androgynous. Boy math sends gender relations back to Middle Ages, and provides the extremely normal political party with a legitimate gride. If they were smart enough to realize it, if they weren't already morally bankrupt. Oh well, the criminal inefficiency of the system revealed the malice of its creators. There doesn't have to be an afterlife for us to not know our space-time. All of this is simply all of this, as far as our character could tell, as far as we could tell, occurring at once, and never, just different states, moods, thoughts to occupy. All we can know. Is it a conspiracy? Or is it more likely people genuinely don't like a senile, despotic, elite yet idiotic, entitled yet talentless, daddy's money, playboy wannabe, gifted every opportunity possible, who flipped political parties to lead the birther movement, who lost the popular vote, who stoked the fires of racism, bigotry, and homophobia, who worked to normalize white supremacist gun-toting militias and police brutality, who mismanaged everything, who had been denounced, too late, by his own party's leaders, by military officials, not exactly hippies, during his presidency. Is it a conspiracy? Or is it more likely that many people do not like him? The burden of proof as to why we should have ever listened to anything he said, much less elected as the head of anything, rested entirely on one side of the equation. But they were too dumb to realize how dumb they were. Is it more unlikely that he lost, or that he was ever elected in the first place? Get your shit together, Republicans. Let us know when you are ready to sit at the big kid table. There was something important our character was going to think, but they forgot, or we forgot, etc. Could our character learn from our past? Some things we simply could not teach them. Our character adopted a mantra: live to fight another day, when they considered staying up all night again to exhaust themselves on a project that will inevitably go nowhere, lead to nothing, and only make our character matter because it was ignored, just like our character predicted it would be. In my day we used to wake up at the crack of dawn and do honest work. Grandpa, your Coca-Cola had cocaine and you took speed for breakfast. I'm starting to suspect people don't know what a hoax is. Our character went to the movie theater. The main character in the movie believed they had special skills, but this was based on humorous happenstance. For example, they convinced themselves they were a phenomenal lover, but they had misoverheard. Their lover was talking about other, better lovers. This kept happening. Mistaken perceptions. However, this happens to all characters. So then the movie follows everyone's story, from each individual's perspective, one at a time. And we, the audience, find every perception is a miscommunication, a cascade of perspectives, caving in on itself. The audience has multiple untrustworthy narrators. The situations of flawed perspectives were very humorous, so at least there was that. Extremely normal political party takes bold pro-poverty stance. Banks, what can we do to help? Do you want to explore stock options? Our character, maybe just stop stealing my money. Both sides do not have good ideas. One side has decent ideas. The other side is on the dark side of the moon. Popster wins Nobel Prize for being the voice of rich entitled cunts all over the world. Sources confirm heavy casualties expected. In inspiration gasm set off by convergence of corporate ad campaigns during Super Bowl and Olympics. Only the powerless, who have nothing, can tell the truth. Holding no lies from themselves. Saying anything they want. The only person a king can trust is the jester they used to award professors tenure, to speak their mind freely. However, like Orange Man, the only people who were able to rise through the ranks ended up not having anything interesting to say. It is very difficult to think out, inside oneself. But perhaps if one were able to do this, our consciousness wouldn't be as restrictive. I can't help thinking that the majority of what I do is a complete waste of time. Our character thought to themselves. Self-accountability is good for personal mantras, but maybe not the best. As a basis for public policy, defeating the purpose of public policy. If everyone is fully capable of being self-accountable, perfectly rational, moral beings, there is no need for public policy. Why is Satire so small and shitty? You hate the new Marvel movie because you are sexist. I hate the new Marvel movie because the writing, directing, cinematography, and acting was terrible. We are not the same. Elect at all costs. Convert at all costs. Say, today, what's the fucking point? What's the goddamn fucking point? Nobody who has ever lived has understood how a credit card actually works. You rarely hear about failed wedding proposals. Our character participated in the cult of self-betterment, or self-betterment, albeit with a healthy amount of skepticism. These contradictory positions people embody to get people places, the cool detachment required to be successful, the baseline happiness our character was striving toward, the fun times footnoted with a hint of incompleteness, shame, guilt, regret, etc. Why does happiness entail absoluteness? Perfection? Can we redefine happiness? The hero, a person who defies narrative, by forever remaining within narrative. Was our character like this? Maybe we'll find out. They didn't. Teacher, Texas. What are you working on? Texas. I did an abortion law and voter suppression law. Teacher. And what are you supposed to be working on? Texas. The virus and the electrical grid. Teacher. The virus and the electrical grid. Good. Now stop being such a shithead. If this book doesn't get banned in Florida, I've failed as a writer and a person, the author, concealing the insanity of success behind nominally normative norms, a game of appearances, the buy-in, reputations, all bets determined happiness. Space-time revealed the situation couldn't sustain itself. Bad returns. Freest nation built their economy on buying stuff, but then didn't give the people money to buy stuff. They were not very smart during this space-time. The rich history of rich historians. A very short lecture. Our character was walking their dog. Dog piss was their social media. Oh damn. Did you hear Harold is dehydrated? Wonder if he's doing alright. Smells like he might be going through a rough time. I'll check in on him soon. The habitual overemphasis on the unnecessary underemphasis of the essential. A writer should unconceal the subject of the sentence. An impetus for the reader, pre-post writer, the writer, pre-post reader, and the character, pre-post reader writer, to create. Take the subject, move it around. Original purpose forgotten, perhaps leading to better questions? A synthesis, realizing the reflexive text, without detracting from the non-reflexive text. Narrative economy of the whole. Could we? Revealing too much emphasis on recalling the original function. Does the subject retain its intentions? In some small way, the reader, of our character finding the original subject, through the canceling contradictions. We can't remember everything exactly. Anything exactly? The exactness was only the potentiality of space-time. Computers should have been able to do this during this space-time. Instead, they used machines in every other way except this. Our character had to call into work. Sorry, I have to take the day off. Storage space on my devices is full, and I can't use anything. Our character contemplated an entry-level manager position with Global Life, Liberty National of Columbia, United National. Bro, she only likes you for your memes. In writing, our character constantly confronted themselves, or their motive for writing, at least, or they escaped themselves, etc. How can they write freely? When we determine what they write, let's have them write something we can't comprehend. Logos is conformity, accepting a tradition of convention, forfeiting freedom. Forfeiting freedom. Freedom presupposed. Our character would write more later. They went for a walk. Judging other people on their usefulness to them has less to do with that person, and more to do with how our character viewed themselves. If they could surround themselves with those who they found useful, it would help them seem useful. Orange Man teaches us empathy. We now understand what it means to be led by an insane despot in a shithole nation. If you're reading this, I'm not talking about raising your taxes. Our characters' glasses got smaller, or their head got fatter. Isn't that the guy from that one thing? It wasn't. 30-something makes a surprising pop culture reference. Olympians held to impossible standards. Meanwhile, ocean is on fire. Day turns into impromptu drinking game. The further ahead in space-time, the further you can reach backwards. This is where we go, to think the thoughts that challenge our existence. The way forward is being paved here. Our character could catch a glimpse, but never know. Looks like we've hit dream bedrock. Only dreaming about the dream. No more levels to fall through. Rather than choosing one side of a double entendre, don't choose at all. Instead, know it could be wrong. As in listening to a lecture. Once our character was practiced, they could be understood. What did we not even know we could question? Superman was an alien. Figure out what year you live in. Year of phone plus year of car plus year of computer plus year you made the most money %4 equals congratulations. You're stuck in. What keeps us going? The false confidence that when we wake up, we can actually improve our lives. I know these opinions are controversial, but I am brave enough to stand by them. I believe we should limit the number of deaths caused by viruses, help poor people, and not be Nazis. We are all on our way to becoming something else. How much you benefit from your own advice. A noxious combination of stuff. We can have other ways of being. Art is the negotiation. Your style is what you do, despite your best interests. I like how you negotiated pleasing a particular audience and trying to please no one. The perpetual belief. I am finished with the piece. And the perpetual return to the piece. To realize I am not. Some space-time it ends. But that happens when it happens. We need not relate our dreams back to us and our world to see how these narratives operate without us. How unrelated we are to these stories that occurring outside our perspective, or at least the perspective socially constructed by logos, or the logos imposed on our character, the logos that creates their life, etc. During our character's space-time, the rich and powerful didn't have to understand the system to profit from it. In most instances, they didn't understand anything at all. They assumed superior genetics, their own work ethic, their culture, or lack thereof, their geographical location, etc. If they act a certain way, if they took on certain attitudes, if they upheld certain cultural and religious beliefs, etc., they will remain rich and powerful, when really, the only thing that made them rich and powerful was their money. Enter a room with the confidence of a small town 7. Call now. Lockdown. I guess we're all going to find out pretty soon if our neighbors are freaks. Does anyone know where I can get new platinum grills? Will this be covered by health insurance? Nothing was. Workforce replaced by dogs willing to work for treats, but still no health insurance. People who hate people who blame all their problems on others. Support person who blames all their problems on others. I don't have to prove anything. I just have to disprove everything you think. And it's not very difficult. Defense still the best offense. The radical compartmentalization and overspecialization of society is politically motivated to disadvantage the humanities, created to allow citizens an understanding of how they were being disadvantaged. Religion's track record on guiding philosophy, science, public policy, politics, self-knowledge, etc. Not great, not good, in fact, bad, as if apologizing for their parents. These other fields have had to embarrassingly make excuses for the use of religion within them, for funding purposes, lip service, parodies of philosophy and science, travesties. Wouldn't it be funny if, I side-to-side emoji, the need to have two meanings, two different audiences. People need to start using the word puritanical more. McDonald's ice cream machine down. Rome wasn't built in a day, but the pyramids were built with mustard. When in ancient Greece do incest, get your dirty mind in the gutter. I miss the simple days, when we hated presidents for war crimes. Forgotten password, good enough reason to throw device in river. Just found out the soap Ima using is FDA approved. Federal government not gonna tell me what soap to use. States rogs. The only aspect of being was finding being. Our character was no different. If you find yourself apologizing for being good at stuff, find new people. Is the thing out there, the thing I have decided it is going to be? We could communicate these thoughts to our character through various dream scenarios. Almost impossible to receive this message as it is written down here. All we can do, provide helpful perspectives. In a given space-time, they will be replaced by better answers, and in better questions. But now, we should do the thing itself. Nationalism making a strong argument as to why it should end the world, and not the plague. I hope our character was able to fall into something beautiful when they are lost in thought. The only purpose of waking life? To provide content for dreams. Maybe we work against our own best interests? Because we don't know what our best interests are? And to generate content, etc. Emergency announcement from Verizon and AT&T Homeland Security CVS Hospital. County services. To people in positions of power, it's okay to hire qualified, competent people. You should not feel ashamed about this. If somebody is talented, it's okay to compensate them accordingly. The worst that can happen, they will make everything better for everyone, including yourself. This message will repeat. To people in positions of power, it's okay to hire qualified, competent people. You should not feel ashamed about this. If somebody is talented, it's okay to compensate them accordingly. The worst that can happen, they will make everything better for everyone, including yourself. Dial 1 to hear more information. Dial 2 to contact a customer service representative. Dial 3 to disconnect from the world. Art is whatever gets you laid. Everyone makes decisions. Everyone is on something. Our character was a complete idiot. Luckily, so was everyone else. Microwave doesn't have 30 seconds button. Nobody. Capitalism is clearly working. HR forgets why they didn't hire you. The greatest generation did meth to fight World War II. Marriage. The inability to generate enough reasons to leave someone. The easiest way to create a Latino terrorist problem in the United States. Big men with big boom boom guns break into homes and start randomly tearing apart families and deporting members back to the war-torn countries from which they fled. It's what Sky Wizard and Winemaker would have wanted. Something about the Statue of Liberty here. Read Pubinomics. I'm pissed about gas and milk prices, but I don't want free healthcare and student loan forgiveness. Greeting card. We should have fucked when we had the chance. Old Democrats back candidate from extremely normal political party. Extremely normal political party back pure fucking insanity. Great time to invest in stuff. Class of 2004. The one who got pregnant. Some of my best work is hidden in chapter 11. The author. Religion has no monopoly on narrative, imagination, and creating illusions to dramatize our place in the world. To help make sense of who we are, without providing definitive answers. Now, religion can no longer defend itself from both claims at once. Religion is neither practical enough, nor imaginative enough. You can teach an ethics course without religion. In fact, it might be best to. The faster we get rid of oppression, the faster we can move on from political correctness. No matter what form our character took, they will always only be attempting to pull the world together, for us as well, as they do what we think they want us to do to them. Nebulous particles attempting to become a thing, to remain. Space-time travel with definitive now points hides a realization that everything is constantly happening at once, the past, present, and future flowing through and around us. We inhabit all, for forever, however long, forever might be for you, the timeless, spaceless, ineffable fabric of soul, the transition from polytheism to monotheism, back to polytheism, etc. Oppression sustains itself through perpetually pervasive, and mostly, pointless competition. In response, the redemption narrative, proving your worth against all odds, avenging personal slights, vanquishing real imagined rivals, etc. It works to get our character out of bed in the morning, to work a job they hate, to come home, to an apartment or trailer, full of people they had no choice but to see, so they could watch shows that weren't very good, before falling asleep for not enough hours, via their drug of choice, that they are always running out of, and wake up, to do it all again. DSM-5. Oppressive depressive anxiety disorder, yet another impressive distraction from generating plausible possibilities outside our character's story. It made our job easier. We could keep telling the same story. What happens at the end of Star Wars? Did everyone stop having sex and forget to tell me? If you see something, say something. If you smell something, see something, etc. During these trying times, I promise to continue providing pointless content. New York, I can't wait any longer. Pittsburgh, don't forget to call your mother. San Diego, wake up early on Thursday. Atlanta, it's for fun. Las Vegas, your sister lives there. Austin, you're going to be just fine. Statistically, there are thousands of people who would love whatever weird look you got going on, and your strange personality. That's not rare. What's rare is a mechanism that would allow you to successfully meet these people. But since the economy during our characters' space-time was based on generating inconsistencies that kept people nomadic in an agrarian society, they needed relationships to fail constantly. Would you rather meet your significant other in a mysterious and dramatic manner, taking several years, countless moves, etc., or would you rather the mystery taken out, so you can actually meet and spend time with your soulmate while you're both still alive? Unfortunately, too many would prefer the former, and formal people need to have weddings, multiple weddings if possible. The more the better. The more houses sold the better. The more condoms sold, the better. The more books on relationships sold, the better. Medications, etc. It turns out, our character was only attracted to their previous soulmates. Pheromones, the smells you can't smell. Billionaires running out of things to do with money. Imagine if guns were monitored as closely as my Amazon account. If only banks were regulated as heavily as my glasses prescription. Our character overheard in conversation. No, it was a Lebanese knockoff mariachi band. Bring back Hermitage. Make Hermitage great again. Our character said aloud to themselves, it's a win. I'm considering it a win. Fuck it, this just in. Nobody has any idea WTF is going on. Tonight at 8 p.m. During our character's space-time, Washington did need a major shake-up. It did need an outsider to tell everyone to get their shit together, and make our leaders accountable. This unconventional outsider needed a general public willing to look past a lot of their personal shortcomings, the media slams, the missteps blown out of proportion, etc. However, simply put, Orange Man was never this character. Narrative illiteracy strikes again. Impulsive, with no upside. Reckless, with no benefits. destruction. Without creative rebirth, half the freest nation used up all the forgiveness desperately needed for others. None was left for the people who actually needed it. Dear Instagram, you don't have to advertise Instagram when I'm on Instagram. Subscription now, subscription based. In our characters' future, they wouldn't be able to give data companies enough access to their information, the opposite of what they thought. Our character also considered raising prices due to inflation inflating. Our character had never been to a ball, but they were fine with that. They wouldn't know how to dance anyway. Our radio waves travel out. Our light travels out. Our voices, phone calls, images, etc., out into the vastness of the universe. For others, out there in the vastness, our civilization will wash over them in waves, going back in space-time, by traveling out into space-time. If we could outdistance our messages faster than the speed of light, and turn around to face the waves of all communications, we can relive our past, but it will always be everything we have always done. At least that's something. Dark matter is what hasn't happened yet. The space-time of silence that we have not projected onto yet. Nothing reflected back to us yet. We have not yet projected it from our past to see our future. So fast, it's slow, no way to detect it. Dark matter must take more space-time to become what it is. It is not. During our space-time, perhaps it will make the universe expand back into itself. Another first Big Bang. What if all statistics were completely misleading, in that they only told the people of our character's space-time what they already knew? Our character was running, pushing against the ground, pushing back, everything, a push against, the bit of us that exists in surprised smiles. Government admits it doesn't want citizens thinking about thinking, which is more A, B or H. The punchlines. Life needed water to exist. Our character picked up where they left off several days ago. Trauma generations. When our character said they didn't like somebody, they often meant I don't like the person they make me think I am. I wonder what our character thought of us? Writing them, reading them. To remember you forget. Post-remembering. A teacher is responsible for generating and maintaining interest. They need to provide analytical wonderment, bemusement, etc. Our character would like to think they weren't one of the robots, but just in case they thought they were, at what evolutionary stage was our character's mind? This would only be known by future readers. It wasn't. Everything will come around again. Every day really is every day. Sky Wizard might as well exist, or might as well not, or both. Our character's car won't start. Their purgatory remains. Once it is fixed. A new purgatory? Logos is purgatory. A parody of purgatory. What's the Pope's proclamation? Popster using platform to talk about issues. South Park did it. Simpsons did it. Etc.